How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, the show where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, in episode number 139 of Uncut, we are going to be discussing Darnell Mooney's sophomore season. How will he perform, and how do the additions of Justin Fields and Andy Dalton help him in the long term? Mooney obviously exploded onto the scene in 2020, a fifth-round draft pick, 173rd overall out of Tulane. So he's looking to have a big year, too, after he solidified himself as the second-best wide receiver on the Bears roster. Before I introduce myself and my co-host, I would like to say thank you guys for absolutely crushing it on the video yesterday. You guys absolutely loved it. Had some good critique for us. We're going to be back all summer, so got to kick some rust off and start doing things how we like to do it again and get comfortable. But thank you guys so much for the support on that video. If you want Bears content every day of the week, before we get into this, do us a favor wherever you're listening on the podcasting platforms as well as YouTube. Do us a favor, drop a like and subscribe, because we're going to bring you guys the most comprehensive Bears coverage the entirety of the summer. So be sure to join us, and we're going to be bringing you Bears content all summer. But let's get into it. Episode 139 of Uncut. I am your host, Chris Maltby. Today, I am joined on the right of me by my co-host, Jaylen McClinton. Jaylen, back again for another one. Video yesterday did real well, so a lot of motivation to continue to pump some of these out. But how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Like you said, you talked about the video, from yesterday. I think it's like currently at 9K right now, so in less than a day, which is crazy. So hopefully that motivates us to keep posting every day, especially since like now since we've been talking about it. So that's about it. I was excited about that to see it blowing up. But that's about it.
Yeah, some 2019 or 2020 quarantine Beared Down vibes with that video for sure. But yeah, we're gonna keep the content coming, so hope you guys can enjoy it. So let's get into this. I mean, obviously, Jaylen, Darnell Mooney had quite the 2020 season with the Bears. Played in all 16 games, 61 receptions for 631 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's 10.3 yards per receptions, with also a long reception of 53 yards. So he had quite the year, obviously, as a fifth-round pick out of Tulane. We've seen the Bears bring in a lot of receivers throughout the last couple of years when we've been covering the Bears, guys like Riley Ridley, Javon Wims, newer guys like Daz Newsome, even guys like Anthony Miller in the draft. And we haven't seen them get that significant of playing time in their rookie season. We've seen them kind of like to hold players out. Like when I take a look at Javon Wims and Riley Ridley, they had more significant playing time in year 2, more specifically Javon Wims. Riley Ridley still has been in a funk ever since he got to Chicago. But Javon Wims, for example, they held him out most of the entirety of the first year. He played, I believe, in 2018 or 2017 whenever he came into the league, week 16, 17, when the Bears had already clinched a playoff spot, I believe, actually in 2018. Sorry about that. But we saw him play those couple of games at the end of the season and not really break out until the next year, or break out, not even, but have a significant year and be able to be a significant contributor. But we saw it really pan out differently for Mooney. He came in week 1 and we knew he was special. So, Jaylen, just hopping into this, I mean, I think it's a pretty obvious answer, but the Bears still do have Anthony Miller on the roster, a lot of new receivers. Daz Newsome, Ridley, and Wims are going to be back. Anthony Miller, obviously, vying for a comeback year after he was a little bit of a letdown in 2020. But does anything prevent you from seeing Mooney still being wide receiver 2 in 2021?
No, not at all. Like you said, he had a great year last year. When we first drafted him, I had a bold take at that time, and I said he was going to be our wide receiver 3. When at that time we had Ted Ginn, we had high hopes for Riley Ridley and a couple other guys that were on the roster. And I was wrong, but I was wrong in a good reason. He ended up being our wide receiver 2. We seen him take more snaps than Anthony Miller as the year progressed, and so I think nothing stops him from staying at that wide receiver 2 position, barring any injuries. Who knows with this Allen Robinson situation, he could be our wide receiver 1 at the end of the year. But I definitely see him sticking at that wide receiver 2 position.
Yeah, and he has definitely gotten under some players' skin this offseason, not because of anything he's done, but because of Bears fans. I mean, just take a look at that whole Jalen Ramsey situation where he burned him on the double route, on the double move.
That wasn't.
And yeah, Ramsey was not too happy about that one, but I got to agree with you. I think Mooney stays at wide receiver too. It is worth noting that the Bears did bring in Marquise Godwin, another very speedy receiver. He's had some injury issues throughout his career, but has been a really solid producer for the San Francisco 49ers. Also was an Olympic track runner. So I do think that if Godwin can stay healthy, he's not going to be wide receiver too. I do think it's going to continue to be Mooney as he continues to grow into this role and continue to be a threat to defenses, someone that you have to keep your eye on throughout games. But I think him and Godwin can definitely cause some trouble for some defenses if they are both healthy. So it should be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think absolutely Mooney will be wide receiver 2 heading into 2021. We're going to probably make a video within the next week about Anthony Miller. We made one a little bit earlier this offseason, but he might not even make it past training camp as a Chicago Bear. So the Bears were shopping him, obviously, before the draft, and it seems like George McCaskey's fed up with him, his attitude, his ego a little bit. He said that that's unacceptable. Same thing goes with Javon Wims with the whole Chauncey Gardner-Johnson situation. So it should be interesting to keep an eye on Miller's future in Chicago, but I don't think if he does stick with the Bears, he will be passing up Mooney on that depth chart, but he'll be a solid wide receiver 3 out of the slot. Let's talk about the quarterback play a little bit because we saw some inconsistencies with the deep ball last year from Nick Foles and Mitchell Trubisky. Jaylen, how do you think the addition of Andy Dalton, someone who's a little bit sharper with the deep ball, as well as Justin Fields, this dual threat quarterback who can extend plays and find Mooney and also has a refined deep ball, how do you think the additions of them help out Mooney and how he'll succeed in 2021?
It's going to help him out, a lot, especially from last year. You were just talking about the Jalen Ramsey situation where, where a lot of Bears fans were on Twitter and Instagram talking about
Mooney probably should have scored like 2 touchdowns in that game.
He should have scored a lot of touchdowns, during the whole season. I remember Foles missed him on a deep ball in Tampa Bay. He missed him once against Indiana or Indianapolis. So it was a lot of plays that were missed out because of inaccuracy by the starting quarterback, rather it was Mitch or Foles. So I think, whether it's Dalton or Fields, he's going to have way better. Let me not say way better because of Dalton, but I think he's going to have a better quarterback play than he had last year. He had, I think, 690-something yards or around there as a 5th-round draft pick, with low expectations. I think he can, have a better season than that this year. And plus, he played all 16 games. I know he got hurt like in the third quarter against Green Bay that held him out the playoff game, but he still played all 16 and one of the best abilities is availability. If he can continue to stay healthy and produce like this, he's going to be a huge player for this Bears offense for the next coming years.
Yeah, I got to 100% agree with you. Mooney's something special. I mean, he went from a 5th-round draft pick to someone who wasn't really going to play to a wide receiver 2 in what had to have been about 4 weeks.
Yeah, it was like 4 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I remember how shocked we were when we went to the Bears' depth chart when they started putting out depth charts with injury reports and stuff like that, and we were like, wait, Mooney's wide receiver 2? And we were like, oh, yeah, he's been playing like wide receiver 2. So I do think the additions of Fields and Dalton help him, and I think as we continue to see Justin Fields develop and obviously start games because he may not start off the season as quarterback 1, I think they're really going to grow together and become a really good tandem as we move down the road. We saw Justin Fields succeed with fast wide receivers at Ohio State, guys like Chris Olave that can get open deep and can allow you to take the deep shot and take the top off a defense. And Olave was someone who took the defense's focus a lot and caused Fields to go elsewhere. But I think Mooney is similar where he has that speed, that game-breaking speed, and can be someone that can take the top off a defense and also help open up other players. So Justin Fields has been playing with NFL players for the last 3-4 years at Ohio State. So nothing's really going to be new for him, but I do think his refined deep ball helps. And I also think Andy Dalton's just a little bit sharper than Nick Foles. So starting off the season, I do believe that Mooney will continue on his success from 2020. So let's talk a little bit about how we think Mooney's going to do this year. Obviously, 61 receptions, 631 yards, and 4 touchdowns last year, but hopefully you would think he can have a better sophomore year. Jaylen, let me know what you think. Predict how you think Darnell Mooney's going to do in 2021.
I want to say he gets that 1,000 yards, but with Allen Robinson still, being on the team for, I'm pretty sure the whole season, unless like he just, sits out and asks for a trade. I think he gets around 600, 700 again, maybe even 800. probably with more. He's definitely going to get more receptions. Hopefully, he can get some more longer passes. I think his longest was like 50 this year, or around 50. So I think that he gets a couple more of those this season. So I definitely feel like he get 800 yards, like 5 or 6 touchdowns, because I think he got like 4 last year. So definitely see an improvement, barring any injuries from Darnell.
Yeah, and I think as Justin Fields comes in, it only helps Darnell Mooney. I really think he's going to take a step up in year 2. I've said it about year 2 players in the past. I said it about Anthony Miller. I said it about Mitchell Trubisky. I've been wrong. But I do think Darnell Mooney's in a good spot to succeed. So I do believe that as the Bears bring in players who hopefully have more refined deep balls, it only helps Darnell Mooney in terms of logging more yards, logging more catches, logging more touchdowns. So I'm going to go something like 65 receptions. I think I'm going to go closer to 800 yards. I got to be honest. I do think he's going to do pretty significantly better in 2021 than he did last year, just because his quarterback will be hitting him more. And I'm going to go 8 touchdowns. I think that would be a really solid year too.
Cool.
Yeah. I believe in Mooney. He came out and surprised us last year when not many people saw it coming. Jaylen mentioned it earlier. A lot of people believed in Ted Ginn, who didn't even make it past the Rams game because he didn't want to catch a punt and was not any sort of factor in the receiving game before that. But I do believe Darnell Mooney's going to have a big year too, continue to surprise us, the 5th-round pick out of Tulane. But do us a favor. I said it twice, but go down in the comments if you're listening on YouTube. Drop your stat predictions for Darnell Mooney. How do you guys think he's going to do in year 2? And how do you think the addition of Justin Fields helps him out? That should be interesting. Thank you guys so much for listening in to episode number 139 of Uncut. Do us a favor before you leave, if you haven't already, drop a like and subscribe. We're going to be bringing you guys Bears content each and every day of the week. We are super motivated and are going to get you guys videos each and every day. If you want more content from us, head over to our website, beareddown.com. We're getting it booted back up, starting to post some Collins articles and blogs covering training camp and everything this offseason. So if you would like to visit our website, the link is at the top of the description. Also, we are going to put out some new merchandise soon, so if you are interested in that, that will be linked on our website as well eventually. If you would like to find the podcast on social media, you can see sneak peeks of special guests we're having on. Help us decide what to record on, because we love to record what you guys want to see. We love your guys' feedback, and also enter our giveaways. We try and do a couple of giveaways every year during the season, and I'm sure we're going to be giving away a Justin Fields jersey soon. You can find us on both Instagram and Twitter at Beared Down. And finally, you can find the links to all of our social media pages down in the description, our personal stuff, our Instagrams, as well as our Twitters. It's a great way to interact with us. We love your guys' support, and you can also see our thoughts on the entirety of the National Football League, all things Bears, as well as all of Chicago sports. So be sure to check us out on Instagram as well as Twitter. Jaylen McClinton, feels good getting in this consistent grind. We've recorded about 5 or 6 videos this week, and we're only going to continue as we head closer to training camp. So any last words before we close this one off?
Nope. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate all the support. I think we're about to hit 4K. And once we get done with this, I'm going to watch the Sox game. So that's about it.
Yeah, Sox, first pitch will be in about 60 seconds here, so good timing closing this one off. But hope everyone has a good weekend. We're going to keep getting you guys videos, maybe a double upload tomorrow on Sunday. A lot of these shorter videos are normally going to be uncut for us, just because we don't have the time to record a 20, 30, 40-minute podcast that we normally do. So I think this summer you'll be seeing a lot of Uncut. It was a series that you guys loved last offseason, so we're going to keep it coming for sure. And it gives us the freedom to speak on whatever we want and literally just post the footage. So we appreciate your guys' support. And as long as it continues to come, we're going to keep getting you guys videos each and every day of the week. It's been a pleasure to be your host, guys. Once again, my name is Chris Maltby. And Bears fans, as always, do us a favor and stay safe and bear down. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.